Hi everyone! So today I'm going to do another Tic Tac pour because I really like this technique, but this time I'm going to add some fluorescent colors in there so we can see what it looks like under black light. I really think it's going to be interesting. The details in those pours are quite amazing. I love them, so of course I'm going to do one with fluorescent colors. The painting changes so much between daylight and black light. I really like this. It's just like you can't really count on first appearance. You really have, it's like a person. It's a funny comparison. You can't you can't count on first appearance. Someone may look mean and everything, but they won't be. They're super nice in the end. Well, my paintings are a bit of the same. They look nice in daylight, but in blacklight they take a completely different personality. So, I'm going for a contrast. Last time my contrast with the gold didn't quite work out, so I thought I would go for a fluorescent yellow with Dioxazine purple, white, magenta, and pearl to add a little shininess to the painting. I really like it. I mixed my paints the usual way. For the heavy body paint, the yellow and the pearl, it's 50-50 with paint and medium. 1 part to 1 part, quite easy. And then I add about 25% water. For the fluid acrylic, the white, I do 50%, 1 part to 1 part. It's a quite heavy density pigment, the zinc white, so I do not add water to it. I want it to stay heavy and maybe help create some lacing in cells by sinking into the lighter paints, and when it sinks, the other paints have to go somewhere, so they rise up, and that's how you get the cells really. But I don't quite expect cells in this pour, but I'm always happy when I get them. The magenta is an acrylic, it's a high flow acrylic. It's the same thing as acrylic ink. It's 1 part paint to 10 part medium. And then I add a couple drops of water, about 5% water, just to help them rise up and float, because the water has a lower density than all pigments and paint. So let's get started with that. I will zoom you in and we'll get started. Okay, so I'll start by pouring my paints in the cup, in the Tic Tac box in order of density. The zinc white first, it's the densest. Then the pearl. I try to use the side so I can stack them on top of each other, like I do when I do a flip cup. Basically, this is the cup where it flips alone without the canvas and everything. Then, I'm not sure, I think the Dioxazine purple is a little more dense. Not sure. If it is, it's not by much. Okay, so I'll put my top on and hopefully I don't make a... Yes, I make a mess. I have to stop filling it up a little before. Doesn't need to be that full. Well, okay. Okay, it's secured on. I'll zoom you in even more so you can really see what's happening on the canvas. And quite simple. Flip and then open this and try to not be in the way. I'll give you a time lapse, as usual, and I will cover my sides. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. Sure that enjoyed it. I really like just observing, seeing how the paint moves, how it reacts, seeing the cells pop up, because in this one we got cells. It's probably because I used very light densities paint like the yellow, the magenta and purple, and I used one heavy density and one medium density that sank into them. I also discovered something. This technique is not the best for contrasting paintings because as you flip and open the Tic Tac cup, as the paint pours, the bubbles rise in it and mix the paint. And that gave me a yellow or a brown here, and in some place I still quite like it, and I'm sure that yellow-brown will glow under the black light, so it's still going to be very interesting. And honestly, it's not all that bad, but I learned something today. As much as I like this technique, it's not perfect. I'm not sure if this was a drop or a huge cell. Either way, it's quite pretty. I have some smaller cells here, with the magenta coming through and the yellow. It's going to keep changing as the paint sets and it dries. Here, I have a cluster of cells and the drops, the white. It's nice contrast from the rest with all the lines. Again, the lines, love them. Here I have something weird. It looks like a cell, but a very long cell. There's some yellow popping through here as well. A little bit lines of white here and there. It's lovely, really. Yeah, quite like that. I really like this cell. It's a perfect oval shape and it has yellow, magenta and purple in it. It's pretty, very pretty. Once again, I put metallic paints in there, so as it dries, it's going to become even more striking. And I think this is going to look very nice. It will darken a lot as well as it dries, so I think it's going to be quite striking with the purple, the yellow, the white. It's going to contrast, not the contrast I wanted. I wanted a complementary contrast, but it didn't quite work out. I still have a little bit of yellow that comes through, but it's more brownish because it mixed because of the action of the bubbles as it poured on the canvas from the Tic Tac box. Yeah, overall I'm still happy with it. I would have preferred yellow, of course, but I think it's still going to glow under the black light, and I think it's going to be very pretty. So we're back, and this was quite the experiment. I'm testing out the Tic Tac box as much as I can to let you know what I learn as I go. I think it's a cool technique if you want to go for not a complementary color contrast, because you get brown, because it mixes as it but if you want to go for monochrome or something with colors that are on the same side of the color wheel, it would be the perfect technique to get those lines and a whole lot of detail. It looks like a storm on a planet, except it's purple. It should be a planet color, but I like purple, like I said, my favorite color, but I love everything as long as it's very colorful. That's just me. I can't wait to see how this one will dry. It will darken quite a bit. It will, the metallic paint will pop. The iridescent paints, the iridescent pearl. Going to be one of a kind, I think. And I can't wait to put it under black light, as usual. But I'll have to be patient, as usual. I have a bunch of paintings to varnish in the meantime, so that will occupy me. So yeah, I think that's all for today. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day. Make sure to subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!